Hello guys, welcome to my channel, and today this is Kwamboka Mboya, and welcome to In the Process podcast. So today we are talking about a very interesting topic, and the topic of today is healed and healthy in the waiting. And this topic is really close to my heart because this is a journey I have embarked on. This is a journey that I have been in. It's a journey that I'm still in because this is in the process. So whatever we're going to talk in this podcast and in this channel, they are things that we are in the process of going through. And so today we are talking about a topic that I am in a journey that I am in right now, and that is healing and being healthy as I wait. So I'll start this from a point of where I was years ago. I found myself in a place where I was in a relationship, and for some reason I knew that that relationship was it. I had the confidence that that relationship was it for me. I knew that is the relationship where I'll get married, get children, build a family in. And for some reason, this relationship broke and it shattered me. I was so broken. I was so shattered. I didn't know exactly what was going on because from where I was, I knew that relationship was going to last. I didn't get into that relationship knowing that it will break off. I knew it will be one of those relationships that I will be talking about with my babies and my grandkids and all that. But then it was shattered and it broke me. And now here I was. I met a very broken girl. I met a girl who had hit the rock bottom of brokenness. I don't know whether there's such a thing, but I was in that pit. I know those who have gone through a breakup would understand what I'm talking about, where you feel you are in your rock bottom of brokenness. And that is where I was. I really didn't know how I was going to go through that, how I was going to get out of that season. All I knew, I had embarked on a journey that I had no clue how it was going to end up. I had no clue how I was going to get out of that season and go into a season where I was a happier me, a peaceful me. I was in a season where I needed to sleep, but I couldn't sleep. I was too stressed to sleep. I was in a season where I couldn't laugh genuinely because every time my heart was aching and I couldn't really be in that space of being genuinely happy. Even when I would find my friends in flourishing relationships, I couldn't be happy for them because why theirs and not mine, And it took me months, actually I think almost a year plus, for me to be in a space where now I could sleep. And for me to get there, one of the things I had tried everything. I had tried everything until I reached a point where I was like, now I'm in the hopeless corner. The only thing I have not done is surrender this to God. And so I did. I went to the feet of Jesus and I was like, God, if you don't help me in this season, God, if you don't help me in this stage of my life, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this season. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this place. And so my journey of healing began. It was not an easy journey. It is a journey of every day being intentional, being in a space where you're walking with God actively, not just going to God and getting the medicine and then coming back and talking about I am healed. It's a journey. It's an everyday journey. It's an everyday walk for you to get to that place where you can say, I am healed. I am starting to get healed. I am a healthy version of me than I was before. And so it has taken me years for me to get where I am right now. I am not completely healed and I'm not complete in that sense, but I can say I am healed, I am healthy, I'm a healthier version of me, I'm a healed version of me, and I'm still in the process. And so one of the things that I started with when I started now this journey of just getting healed and regaining my power back was identifying who I was. as I lay all the vulnerable parts of me to God, as God helped me to dissect all these imperfect parts of me, and just being in a space where now I am seeing myself there. I am seeing myself as that broken girl. I am seeing now that broken girl, that imperfect girl. I am seeing her. It's one thing for someone to tell you you're toxic, and it's another thing for you to notice that and find out that you are toxic. Those are two different things. One person might tell you, when someone tells you that you're toxic, you get hurt, you get mad. But imagine if it's yourself who is looking at, as you're doing your self-reflection and just identifying yourself, you're like, this area of my life, this side of me is very toxic to even myself. And so that is where my journey began. Getting to just lay bare all the vulnerable parts of me and getting to identify me. Where now I had to face me. You know, when you're facing yourself is so different than you pointing fingers on others that, oh, it was not me, it was that other person. It was not me who did this, it was that other person who did that, that is why this happened. But then when you're looking inside, when you're looking at yourself, when you're facing the mirror of yourself, it's a whole different ballgame. And that is why I can say that is where my journey of me getting healed and also becoming a healthier version of me started, where I had now to identify myself. I had to lay bare all those parts that I didn't want to really accept that were part of me. I had to look at them and see, now, where do I need change? Which part of my life needs to be touched? Which part of my life needs to be changed and worked on for me to be a healthier version of myself, for even me to be a safe space? I talk about being a safe space so much, but most of the time, we ask other people to be safe spaces for us. I want you to be a safe space. When you do this, you don't become a safe space. But imagine when you create a safe space for yourself, it changes the whole narrative. It gives you a different perspective of safety. And so that is what I had to start. So in the process of me now building myself and just being in a journey of being a healthier version of me, I had to become. That means I had to create a me that I loved. I had to create a me from scratch. And one of the things I had to do is build self-trust. We rarely talk about self-trust, and sometimes it's something that most people don't really identify with. That is self-trust. What is that even? For me, I realized that I had reached a point where I was so nervous in making my own decisions concerning my own life, because I knew I had made mistakes before. I had made bad decisions before. And so I was in a space where I had to learn how to trust myself to make decisions, to make those mistakes when sometimes I make decisions that, yes, I will make mistake, but I will learn from them and pick myself up. I had to go into a journey of just building trust for me. I had to go into a journey of also building boundaries. It's one thing to build a boundary, and it's another thing to build healthy boundaries. Boundaries need to help us to relate with ourselves better and also to relate with the next person better. And so for me, in this healing journey, I've had to be in a place where I had to create healthy boundaries for me, to be able to interact with other people, to be able to even interact with myself from a healthier version. So another thing I did after building self-trust is just being in a space of building boundaries that are healthy for me, that are going to help me to relate with the next person from a healthy perspective. After I was done with the boundaries, now I embarked on a journey of self-love. Not the love that we know, the love of, I don't know, I'm going for massages, I'm going to make my nails, not that kind of love. The love of you looking at the parts of you that are imperfect. The love of you looking at that broken person and the decisions that she had made before and forgiving that person. That is what I embarked on. I had to forgive myself from the past mistakes that I had made. I had to look at myself from a gracious point of view. I had to give myself grace that, yes, girl, you'll make the mistakes. But you know what? You will carry yourself out of those mistakes and learn from them. So I had to give myself grace that I am an imperfect person, and it's okay for me to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. So part of me going into a self-love journey is me learning to forgive me, is me learning to be gracious to me, is me learning to be kind to myself. That the world is full of chaos. Actually, the world is chaotic. Let's be real. The world is chaotic. But imagine the world being as chaotic as it is and meeting a lot of people who are very unkind. And then you come and become unkind to yourself. How does that even work? Well, for me, I realized there are some areas that I was so unkind to myself because of me wanting to be a picture perfect person out there. So I had to be in a place where I had to extend kindness to myself also. For me to be in a place where I can say I love myself. That is part of me loving myself that I had to look into. Another thing is building self-esteem. Self-esteem trickles down to self-love. When you don't love how you are, that is maybe, for me, one of the things that had been disturbing me is my physique, my weight. I gained weight, I lost weight. Like in those seasons, I had a lot of esteem issues. And so one of the things that I had to do for me in the journey of just creating a conducive environment for me, starting the journey of loving me, is just creating self-esteem in areas that I had fears in areas that I was so fearful about. Like for me, I had insecurities in my body. There are so many areas that I had insecurities in. And so I had to go and start building valuing myself to a level where I am now building my self-esteem. And that also trickles down to value. So the moment you start now having self-esteem to a level now, you love your body the way it is, you love yourself the way you are, now you start building value for yourself. And now value, what it helps you in is now it extends to yourself and also to how others treat you. After, you see, now you've built boundaries. For me, for boundaries, I didn't really have problems, but I also needed to have now boundaries that up to this level, you cannot go past that. I had boundaries in some areas and some areas I really didn't. Some areas I could get things slide off. And that's why sometimes you can find yourself in spaces where you are always blaming others for hurting you. But if you look at that situation from an introspective perspective, you'll realize that it is you who has not set the boundaries for you to avoid such. Because boundaries, as I said, they're just to help us to create healthy versions of us and healthy relationship with the next person. So if you don't build boundaries that enable you to relate with the next person well, it will bring now those tensions. It will allow people to overstep and hurt you. And so for you to be in a space where now you've created boundaries and you have learned how to love yourself, you have learned, because the moment you know how to love yourself, you now realize that now you know how you want to be treated. Now you know how love should feel like for you. There are things you look at and you're like, I entertained that in the name of love. There are things you look at and you're like, that was mediocrity from my side. And I allowed that because I didn't value myself enough to know that I don't deserve such kind of a love. And so building a healthier version of yourself, building a healthy version of me, I had to go through that journey of now knowing that this is my value. This is where I do not allow people to overstep on. And this is how love should feel like for me. this is how I would want to be loved and treated in any relationship, be it a platonic relationship, be it a romantic relationship. Now I had to know, how do I want to be treated? And so this is also trickles down now as I am in the journey of waiting, as I get to interact with friends, as I get to interact with potentials. Yes, I have potentials in the waiting. As I get to interact, I'm also able to know that this is not the sort of relationship I would want. This is not the sort of love I would expect to receive from this person, from that person. And so it helps me to build now this journey. Generally, I can say this journey generally has helped me to build like a canvas. When you're writing, you start now, this is what I would want when I get into a relationship. This is the vision I would want to have. This is my vision of a relationship that I would want to go into. So now I desire a healthier relationship, both for me and the next person. Now I desire to love from a healed perspective, not from a broken perspective. One of the things that we do so much is once you get broken, you want to get into another relationship to just prove that you can be in a relationship. Now I'm not getting into relationships to prove any point. My intentions now are clearer. My vision of a relationship now is clearer when I'm talking about I would go into a relationship because of this and this and this. Not just because a relationship is available or a person is available for me to go into a relationship, or this season feels like there's a wave of relationships, and there are people available in my space, so I just need to go into a relationship. That is not my intention for a relationship. That is not my vision for a relationship. So being healed and healthy helps you now to start having intentions. You know what you want in a relationship, why you want to get into a relationship, and what vision you have for a relationship, and how should a relationship feel like for you. How do you want to be loved? How does love feel like for you? So in this season, it is a season that I'm enjoying. Knowing me, I'm enjoying walking with God to heal parts of me that were broken. I am enjoying this season because I'm getting to see a different version of me that before I had not interacted with. I'm getting to see a woman with boundaries. I'm getting to see a young lady who has a vision of what she really knows, she wants, who is focused on, does this feel right for me or does this not feel right for me? And I'm able to say no to situations that do not serve me. And so, for me, one of the things I would tell you in this journey of being healed, healthy, and also on the weight is when you're talking about love and the process of healing, one of the things that you need to know, or one of the things that you really need to take charge of, is take responsibility. Most of the time, when you're pointing fingers that it was not me, it was this because they did this, you're not healed. You're not healing. The healing journey only starts when you identify that, okay, this is part of what I need to look at. Taking that responsibility, owning the responsibility of healing for yourself. That yes, I did this, and I need to get on track to help myself get out of this situation. So one of the lines that I would leave with you, love makes you blossom. When you shrink to fit in boxes, it's not love. Think of the agape love. It gives you the confidence to exist. It gives you the courage to take mountains and not hide in the tunnels. This is what I tell myself every time. Healing starts with me. I stop pointing fingers to others and I take responsibility. I own my part as a person, and I'm going to take the initiative and take the necessary medication that I need in my healing journey. It's one thing to know that there's a problem here, and it's another thing for you to take the initiative for you to start your healing journey. So for you to be able to heal right, take the responsibility of the mistakes that you've done, own them, and take that initiative of you walking towards your healing journey. And in all, make your waiting season an incubation period. That in that incubation period, you will get out of that season healthy. You will get out of that season having added value to yourself. Don't make your waiting season to be a woye season. At you see, Naomi, I don't have a man. No. Make your waiting season, especially, and in this episode specifically, I'm talking the waiting for marriage. Make your waiting season be a season where when you get out of that season, you are a better version of yourself. You have added value to the person that entered into that journey of waiting and healing. So that's all I'll leave for you for today. Until next time, see you right here. Thank you guys for watching.